Now that we know every single exclusive coming to New York Comic Con 2024 from Funko, we're going to take a step back and compare it to last year's catalog. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel for our official NYCC catalog comparison. We're going to be taking a look at all of the exclusives that were released last year for New York Comic Con 2023 and now comparing them overall to the brand new catalog that was just announced here in 2024 for New York Comic Con, which is quickly approaching. It's only a few weeks away, and we are actually very excited because we are lucky enough to be going to New York Comic Con. So if you want to see all kinds of behind the scenes and exclusive New York Comic Con content, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on those upcoming videos. Without further ado, let's break down this comparison. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about and comparing, of course, is the limited piece pops. That is without a doubt the single-handedly most important item when it comes to these major cons where Funko releases exclusives. Everybody wants to know, what are the limited pieces, how many is there going to be, and how difficult is it going to be to get them? And I'm actually happy to report that Funko is releasing more individual limited piece pops here in 2024 than they did for 2023. This year, we're actually getting 7 compared to last year's 5. To give you guys a quick recap of the ones we got last year, we got the 1,000-piece Blacklight Freddy Bones, which actually was a really cool exclusive. We also got the other 4, with them being the mascot pops for the Heavy Metal Halloween Box of Fun that was released last year. They did glow-in-the-dark 1,000-piece limited edition versions of all 4 mascots, which included Filthy Graves, Rusty Steel, Sid Vicious, and Jack Carver. These are all original Funko characters, and you could only get their 1,000-piece limited edition versions exclusively at the booth in person at New York Comic Con. This year, they're going a different route because as of right now, we have no official word if there will even be any sort of New York Comic Con Box of Fun with mascots or not. But we do have more limited pieces, and kind of replacing the mascot pops that we got last year in limited piece form, we're actually getting 4 edified characters from the upcoming Funko Fusion line. Now, we're getting some really limited ones, which is something that I really like, and I think Funko is actually taking these limited pieces up another level for New York Comic Con. So, we're getting a edified Megan, limited to only 500 pieces. That is insanely low for a single limited piece pop that's exclusive only to the New York Comic Con booth. That means they're really only going to have 100 to 125 of them to release each of the 4 days, Thursday through Sunday, at New York Comic Con. Pretty crazy. Only 100 to 125 people each day will be able to secure a Megan. But that's not all, as we're also getting a 1,000-piece edified Chucky, a 1,000-piece edified Skeletor from Masters of the Universe, and also a 500-piece Dilophosaurus from Jurassic World. So I really like where Funko is going, and they've clearly made it known they are putting out some what is inevitably going to be some big grails in the Funko Fusion line. So if you are trying to stay complete on the Funko Fusion line of pops, these are definitely going to be very challenging ones to get. But I do have some strategies that I will be going over in a future video on how to get some of these very limited items without breaking your budget. But that's not all when it comes to the limited pieces this year for 2024. We're also getting Deadpool in the Zamboni. This is actually a pop ride that's going to be limited to 8,500 pieces. And then the big one that I know a lot of people are excited for, including us, there's going to be a flocked animal playing the drums, limited to only 1,500 pieces. And then the last one, which we actually recently got word is going to be a limited piece, is the V-Friends collaboration with Funko, the Jolly Jacko, and it's metallic actually, and that one is also going to be limited to 1,000 pieces. And I think that one's really unique in the fact that it is limited because it is a brand new collaboration between Gary V's brand V-Friends with Funko, and I think this one is going to skyrocket in value and probably hold a lot of value down the road because Gary Vaynerchuk is so well known, and he's going to have a booth at New York Comic Con this year like he's had in the past, and I think a lot of non-Funko people are going to be going after this pop. So I think this one actually has the potential to be quite expensive with there only being 1,000 pieces. So from a limited pop perspective, 2024 clearly has the advantage, and I like what they're doing with giving us the Funko Fusion ones in limited format, as well as other ones that are popular, like Deadpool is just an easy win for them. I mean, we just got Deadpool 3. Everybody loved it over the summer, so I expect that Deadpool and Zamboni to have a little bit of value, nothing crazy down the road. And then giving us a character like Animal, who doesn't have that many pops of himself, period, but giving a really limited flock version, I think is just genius. And then the Jolly Jacko that we just talked about, I think is going to be popular because of that collaboration with V-Friends. Now, before you guys jump at me in the comment section, yes, there is another limited piece pop that I have yet to mention, and this one is the metallic Wolverine coming with the Wolverine Pop and Deadpool Loungefly bag combo set. Now, we've seen a lot of Pop and Bag Loungefly combos in the past, and in fact, last year for New York Comic Con, we did get the Might Guy Diamond with bag as well. Although, Funko is doing something very well in regards to continuing this trend, but recognizing the lack of demand for the pop and bag combos, as unfortunately over the last 18 months to 2 years we've seen a lot of these pop and bag bundles go on discount or heavy clearance at certain times throughout the year on Funko's website, aka the Funko Shop. So last year, Might Guy was exclusive to, or limited to 4,000 pieces, while Wolverine and Deadpool this year is only 1,000. And I think 1,000 is a much better number to go with. I would imagine that there is a certain number that they have to produce to make the exclusive even worth their time in terms of making money. So I think 1,000 pieces is good. I still don't know if there's enough demand for that pop and bag combo set for it to sell all 1,000 pieces during the weekend of New York Comic Con, but I think they have a strong chance with it being tied to Deadpool, which I already mentioned, because of his popularity here in 2024. Now let's talk about the overall quality of the pop exclusives, aside from the limited pieces that we just talked about. One of the things I am big on seeing Funko do is give us some really special figures for the big cons like C2E2, San Diego Comic Con, and New York Comic Con. This is Funko's opportunity to shine by showcasing their products and giving fans items that haven't been done or done in a way that makes them different, unique, cool molds, diamond variant, flock variant, whatever. And 2024, we're actually getting some really cool ones in the fact that we're getting many first-time character figures. We're getting Witch Hazel for the first time from Looney Tunes, as well as Mystical Elf from Yu-Gi-Oh!, and even Corazon from One Piece, just to name a few, making their pop debut at New York Comic Con 2024. Not to mention, we're getting characters that are in demand by collectors who are already in the Funko hobby. We're getting another Coraline, which I think is fantastic because we are celebrating the 15th anniversary of Coraline this year. We're also getting Wednesday and Enid, which is fantastic as well because they're getting ready to, start promoting Wednesday Season 2. They're in the process of making it right now. Jenna Ortega is, huge in the news. She just did Beetlejuice 2, so giving us another Wednesday pop was very smart of Funko. And then from the anime side, once again, they're knocking it out of the park, giving us another Buggy the Clown, although this time it's a little bit different as he's a deluxe pop from that very popular One Piece line. So Funko is knocking it out of the park this year with their overall quality of most of their exclusives. There are a few that are lacking, and we'll get more into that later in the video. Compare this to last year, where we did get some good ones with the Luffy Wanted poster, as well as Ichigo from Bleach, as well as Spangler's Spirit from Ghostbusters Afterlife. Those were 3 pops that I thought stood out from last year's catalog. However, last year's catalog gave us some very lazy and lackluster exclusives, especially the Looney Tunes characters, where they gave us 4 of them, and they were all dressed up as the 4 various houses of Harry Potter, and seeing just all 4 pops from one specific line from a catalog that is already pretty small, it just seems like those could have been common pops, and as a result those weren't very popular. They don't have a whole heck of a lot of value on the aftermarket, and it just shows that if you release something that appears lazy, I don't think collectors are necessarily going to flock towards them as quickly as Funko might have liked. Now, talking about another quick character here, you got to talk about Freddy, because last year we did actually get a really cool Freddy pop in Freddy Bones, where they actually did that really awesome mold where you had the skeleton Freddy with the human mask to the side, and then vice versa, they did another version of Freddy where he was in human form with the skeleton mask off to the side. So that mold was truly incredible. They gave us that Blacklight Freddy Bones as a 1,000 piece, but they also gave us a regular Freddy Bones as a non-limited NYCC exclusive, which I think was a really smart move. This year, we're getting an even cooler Freddy Funko with the Headless Freddy. Now, the weird thing about this one is, even though the mold is fantastic and I can't wait to pick it up, I am surprised that we are not seeing another more limited version, a different variant of the Headless Freddy. Now, there's still time. Something could show up last minute as we get closer to New York Comic Con, but as it stands right now, we are only getting the one Freddy exclusive. The other thing I'll quickly mention that is different in regards to last year's catalog compared to this year, which some people have already pointed out, is that we are not getting a new version of Polly Pigeon or the Pizza Rat, which are typically these little fun ad icons that Funko has done in collaboration with Reed Pop as mascots for New York Comic Con, but overall, they don't have a ton of popularity, so I think it was a good move not to continue releasing them here for 2024. Now let's talk about a major problem with this year's New York Comic Con catalog, and it is something that I know I am not alone in sharing my disappointment that I've seen with a lot of other people here in the community, and that is we are getting no sodas for 2024 NYCC. How on earth is this possible? And it is another prime example of a major inconsistency between C2E2 this year, San Diego Comic-Con this year, and now we have this gaping hole of no sodas for New York Comic Con. And I'm going to get into this problem a little bit here for a couple minutes because I am really upset as a soda collector, and I know some of you guys out there are upset as well. So last year, believe it or not, we got 7 regular sodas, all with chases, and a 3-liter soda. We got Sandy Claus, Momo, Lord Zed from the Power Rangers, that amazing Skeleton Stitch, Edgar and Alan Frog, the Halloween Freddy with that Blacklight Chase, as well as the 3-liter Willy Wonka. Now, I can't really defend the 3-liter sodas too much because Funko decided to make them $40 retail. And with that high retail price, unfortunately, a lot of collectors were not able to find it in their budgets to play Chase Roulette because at $40 a pop, who can blame them? That is extremely expensive. Now, some of the regular sodas did sell well, but some of them did not. And characters like Alan Frog and Edgar Frog actually found themselves in a lot of those $5 mystery sodas that Funko posted throughout the year on their website. We pulled some of them from the $5 sodas. They were good $5 pulls, but you shouldn't be pulling a NYCC soda that was very limited. They were only 5,000 pieces each, so clearly they did not sell very well. However, some of these sodas are in fact popular ones. People, Skeleton Stitch especially is a character that people love, and it is very challenging to find that chase, especially on the aftermarket here in October 2024. So I just don't understand how we go from having 8 soda exclusives in 2023 to having 0 in 2024. Not to mention that we got the Jiminy Cricket for C2E2, the 2 Freddys for San Diego Comic-Con, and now nothing. So clearly, somebody at Funko either doesn't like the sodas, or what I have been hearing whispers of is that Funko is planning a massive revamp of the soda brand in 2024. They've actually shifted their production line from a manufacturer in China to now a manufacturer in Vietnam. They actually already started doing that with the 2 Freddies that we got for San Diego Comic-Con, and that's why the black bags were actually on the inner bag of the soda, and then the bubble wrap was on the outside of the black bag, and then on top of that, the shrink wrapping around the soda figure itself was much different than we've gotten in years past. So I'm completely fine with them changing factories, finding a way to cut costs, but just keep making the sodas. We love collecting sodas, as I know a lot of you guys out there love collecting sodas as well, and I just think it's a shame that we're not getting any soda exclusives for New York Comic Con when it's a product that clearly is something fans and collectors throughout this hobby still want to add to their collection. And a small thing that just makes me a little bit more upset when it comes to the sodas is the fact that Funko is leaning very heavily into the Bitty Pops. Now, no disrespect to the Bitty Pops, we absolutely love the Bitty Pops, but they have been consistent in the fact that they gave us one for San Diego Comic-Con, and now they're continuing that trend with giving us another limited piece Bitty Pop set here for New York Comic-Con, which I think is fantastic. But if you're gonna consistently give us the Bitty Pops, you gotta find a way to give us the sodas. Now, another quick thing that I want to mention in regards to last year's New York Comic Con catalog to this year is they have completely cut out the rewinds. Clearly, the rewinds were not as popular as Funko had hoped. Last year, we did get a Scooby-Doo rewind. This year, for New York Comic Con, we're getting 0 rewinds, which is understandably so. A lot of these rewinds they put on deep discount, and some of them didn't even sell at the deep discount price. So I'm completely okay with it, and this is no disrespect to anybody out there who does like their rewind figures. I do know several people who enjoy them and like to collect them and everything. They are just not a product that has clearly been well received by a majority of the Funko community. So overall, to sum up my thoughts comparing last year's New York Comic Con catalog to this year's New York Comic Con catalog, I think that Funko is moving in a good direction. Overall, we're getting more limited piece single pops, and some of those pops are very limited, like those 2 500-piece Funko Fusion Pops. I think that is something Funko definitely needs to keep moving into the direction of. Give us very limited pieces for these major Comic-Cons that makes fans not only want to go to these conventions, but stand in line for hours to try to get one of these pieces. And then on top of that, everybody who can't go to these major conventions because of XYZ reason end up paying a lot of money on the aftermarket for them because they want them that badly. There's just not that many of them, and there's a lot of people who collect Funko. That drives hype, that makes Funko popular, that gets people talking about Funko throughout various different communities and collectible hobbies. So continuing to give us more limited pieces is a very, very good thing. Quality. The quality of the pop exclusives, although I feel like they're still severely lacking in some categories like Star Wars, like DC, like ad icons, for example, they are giving us overall much better quality pops, and it seems like somebody at Funko over the last 12 to 18 months has definitely shifted the company's focus to anime. Anime is a massive community. I know there's a lot of people, some of you guys maybe even watching right now, who collect and watch anime. I think that's fantastic. I have no problem with Funko leaning into the anime side of the hobby and catering to those collectors and fans. However, at the same time, you shouldn't be leaving Star Wars fans, for example, in the dust by giving them a character that is not really relevant, not really as popular like Kylo Ren, you know, as compared to so many other characters that haven't been made before. So take what you're doing with anime and make sure you're consistently spreading it out through all the different themes so that everybody in the Funko community is happy no matter what they collect. Now, another big thing that, like I mentioned, I think Funko is in the middle of a shift. The sodas definitely have to be addressed. Not having any at New York Comic Con this year is a huge miss, a massive missed opportunity in my opinion, but I think there's something bigger going on with the sodas because we are getting the Art the Clown soda here in a few days. That's a Hot Topic Scare Fair exclusive. So some people are gonna jump to say, I'm sure in the comments, like, oh, we're not getting any sodas for New York Comic Con, sodas are dead. Sodas are not dead because they clearly are still pushing a product through one of their main retailers with Hot Topic. And I'm actually pretty excited about that soda. We're gonna go try to pick one of those up here in a couple days. The next biggest thing that I have to point out, because to me, as a collector and a hardcore Funko fan, I just don't understand this. I don't get how you introduce a new major character as a part of your inner Funko mascot family here in 2024 and you don't give her a pop exclusive for New York Comic Con. This is the biggest inconsistency. I actually have more of a problem with this than I do with the sodas. How is Franny not getting a pop for New York Comic Con? She got one for C2E2. She got the beautiful roller drive-in Franny for San Diego Comic Con. And this is the biggest inconsistency. I don't understand this whatsoever. Now, for some of you guys who may say, oh, they don't want to go all in on Franny, they don't want to make too many Frannys, I would understand that. However, they're putting Franny in the 4-pack Biddy set. So why is it okay to get a little... The Franny is beautiful. It's a really cool one in that Biddy set. It looks like a Bride of Frankenstein Franny. However, why not give us that pop as well? I don't think there should be a single major con from now moving on forward where we don't get a Freddy pop, a Franny pop, and a Proto pop, all part of the same theme. They did it great for C2E2. San Diego Comic Con was awesome, but not having those for New York Comic Con is also a huge miss. And speaking of theme, the other thing that I want to point out really quickly, now this is more in regards to this year, I think the Funko Airways theme doesn't really work for all three cons. I think it's okay for C2E2 because C2E2 is actually in Chicago. It's a big, major international airport. I think the flight theme actually kind of worked for C2E2. San Diego Comic-Con, I think should have all been pirate themed. Whatever the theme of Fun Days is, it should be the whole theme of San Diego Comic-Con in my opinion. And for New York Comic-Con, it's got to be Halloween. It's got to be ghosts. It's got to be Haunted Mansion kind of stuff. It's got to be Universal Monsters. And I think having that lack of Halloween feeling this year is definitely weird. And them using the same backdrops for the Funko Airways with all the pops they announced, it doesn't really work in my opinion. And I'll be very curious to see what the actual booth looks like at New York Comic Con when we're there in a few weeks. So I would give this year's New York Comic Con catalog a 7 out of 10. I think for me, I'm knocking off a point because Star Wars was really weak. I'm knocking off a point for the sodas, and I'm definitely knocking off a point for not having a Franny. So that's how I'm coming up with my 7 out of 10. I would give last year a 6 out of 10, so we're moving in the right direction. However, there is still a lot of room for improvement. As of the recording of this video, we still do not know if there is a Halloween/New York Comic Con box of fun that's going to be releasing. If we get news that there is going to be one, we will of course pass on the information and let you guys know right here on the channel. But guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Do you think this year's New York Comic Con catalog is better than last year's, or do you think 2023 was actually better than 2024? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. When I did this video for San Diego Comic Con, we got a lot of great feedback, a lot of really constructive comments, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say. So with that being said, don't stop shooting until you score, and we'll see you all very soon.